Hey everybody, Demetri Panos here, along with my good friend and colleague Kit Bowen, and we are back with another episode of KDM, which stands for
Kit.
Kit, Dimitri, and Movies. And
Yay.
I have to just a little behind the scenes here. It was just so funny. I get counted in, so Kit takes care of this directing thing, and she goes, "Are you ready?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she goes, "All right, counting down, five." And it was like she forgot what comes before five. And I was waiting. She goes,
I
four, three. So
had to fix
yeah,
my
it was
hair.
very yeah. Which I'm glad you took the extra 2 minutes to do that. That was awesome. But
Jeez.
we are here. We're here. She finally got to zero. We're on. And we are here to talk movies. And today's movie, depending on how you look at it, released just in time for Valentine's Day. It's a movie that is called Love Hurts. Oh, so we will talk Love Hurts, and just please, we always please note that we may discuss spoilers by the time this gets produced, and Kid has to spend like hours to make me look better because I can't do this on my own. She, of course, no time at all. But so we are going to talk Love Hurts, but we talk spoilers because by the time this gets up and posted onto the socials and all that fun stuff, it's already been opening weekend, usually.
Usually.
And by that time, we hope that you have seen the movie.
Hmm.
Or not. But if you haven't seen the movie, you could press pause right now, go see it, come back. If you don't care, then please, you're more than welcome to join. Just don't be upset at us if we give out a little bit of tidbit. You've been warned. So,
Yes.
Love Hurts. This is the 87 North production, and it is I believe, it is the first American stateside starring role for K. Y. Kwan. I believe it's his first starring role stateside. I can't
Yeah.
vouch for others. Uh, as always, I always defer to the lovely Kit Bowen to start us off. Kit, what did you think of Love Hurts?
Ooh, it did hurt. It hurt a lot. Um, Here's the thing. I mean, how do you pronounce his name? Because I really want to make a
I
key,
believe it's K. Y. Kwan. So
K,
K
Y, K.
H U
Okay.
Y Y Kwan.
Okay.
K. Y.
He,
Kwan.
he made this sort of amazing comeback, right? From Everything Everywhere All at Once. And everyone was like, oh, the kid from Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. Oh, the kid from Goonies. Here he is again, blah, blah, blah. And it was great. And everyone, was totally on board. He got the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. I mean, it was just the momentum was there. So I am not surprised he got his own film. Not surprised at all here in the States because I mean now he's recognizable. Oh, also he was in a kind of a fun little role in the Loki Marvel TV series as well. He was very funny in that. So it's so I to be honest with you, I feel like this was you know just a way to kind of show how affable he is and what he has such a cute personality and everything, and then also show off some of his martial arts skills, which I guess he's had. Um, and that's about it because they just didn't craft a story that made any sense or you didn't care at all. Basically the story is he did, he was once a pretty mean henchman to his brother who ran some sort of a crime organization and decided that he kind of fell in love with one of the cohorts in this crime organization played by Ariana DeBose. And they wanted her killed and he didn't want to because he loved her. And so he let her go. And then, like, I guess we jump forward, I don't know, however many years, but he has left his brother and has now become, a very, mild mannered but very successful real estate agent. Not knowing that he has all these, badass assassin skills kind of thing. So that's the premise of the story. He's dragged back in, obviously, as they are in those kinds of situations. Um, and it just, yeah, it was painful because I mean the dialogue was awful. The story was just blah. The villains were over the top. I mean, I think the brother was okay as far as their scenes together. They have a big fight scene, of course. And I forgot who plays the brother. He's a pretty popular Asian actor. Oh yeah, Daniel Wu. Um, anyway, I mean, long story short, just doesn't do him justice, basically. And I feel bad that this is going to flop big time, but it's just not very good at all. Now we'll probably talk about it after your give your 2 cents, but this is a story that we've seen before. The mild mannered person who turns out to be this incredible badass. Uh, and I feel like it's done way better in other films. Like, and we can talk about some of those other films later, but yeah, just sorry, not good.
Yeah, it definitely is a tell me if you heard this one.
Yeah,
Tell me if you've heard
exactly.
this one already. And we have heard it already. And I really wanted to like the movie. Look, uh Ke Huy Quan has it's undeniable that he has this charming charisma
Yeah.
about him. And I think what's amazing about about the it factor that he has is it's been that way ever since we first saw him as Short Round. The
Mhm.
way he talks, I mean, his accent from child to now adult is like his pitch and tone and cadence is exactly the same,
Yeah, it's
right?
true.
You could say, "Oh, you're such a of course moron. What do you expect?" I go, listen, I know a lot of people who come from a foreign country and come here and they'll go to school, they'll go to acting school and they lose that accent and he has not. And
No.
I think that is of benefit to him and it's just when you watch him, see him, and even when you see him doing his martial arts, for me, there's like a comfort in it,
Hmm.
and it's like, oh, look who, it brings back a nostalgia, but that you see him as a grown person, as a grown man, and you're going, good for him. It's so nice, and you could kind of tell that he's probably just so lovable on set,
Hmm.
like when they're not on camera. And you know, 87 North, as I said, they're a stunt team, a lot responsible for um, the the Keanu Reeves flicks there.
Yeah.
I can't think of what are they? Why am I having a brain
What?
fart? What are the
Goonies?
Keanu? No, the Keanu Reeves movies. John Wick.
Oh,
A lot of those people associated with they did the stunts there. They did the
yeah,
Fall Guy.
yeah.
They do a lot of these stunt movies. Nobody is one that we could talk about
Yes.
because it's got that story as well. You know that the fight scenes are going to be excellent, and they were. So I give this movie three things. I gave it that K. Y. Kwan. It's just undeniable that he has charisma. Not going to take that away from him. Some really decent fight scenes and great
Yeah,
stunts. You can see it, and brevity. The movie's like 80 minutes.
that's true.
So
It
you,
seemed a
you
little longer than that, but yeah.
you could argue that it felt like 180 minutes, but it's like 80, it's just under 90. So there is a brevity to it, but something you said, it makes no sense. They bring in so many characters, and it's like it wanted to be like Bullet Train, where you
Yes.
have these eccentric hit people coming in, and it just didn't work.
Hmm.
And the relationship between Ariana DeBose's character, who's Rose,
Rose.
and his character's Marvin, Rose and Marvin, like it wasn't there. Like I
Yeah.
didn't find it, and this love story, which was supposed to have spent like years, I never got the sense that. they were really in love back when they were bad people, like when they
Well,
were.
I think he was in love with her, but she didn't really know that. So,
But even with what they showed us, like outside of letting her, like there was never any, like I never got that there was any
I just didn't see
romance
any
going on.
chemistry between.
Yeah,
There's a zero
no,
chemistry. Mm-mm.
right, and which is unfortunate because you kind of need that here. But I
Yeah,
don't think the script allowed them to have chemistry, to be
yeah,
honest. Because you have two very talented actors, and I mean, they each won the Academy Award for
yeah.
support, and it was Ariana DeBose that gave it to him for supporting actor for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is kind of nice. That's where they met. But the movie is all over the place, and there are times where there's like uh, narration, inner dialogue, blah blah blah, and like you don't know. It seemed like in this movie anybody could have it and it could shut off at any time. And we could talk about the ending because I still don't know what happened. Like I still don't know what happened with Marvin's character throughout the
Well,
whole. What? Well, I
I
mean, is
mean,
he
he
still a salesperson? He's not a
no,
bad
it
guy.
doesn't look. It
What's he
doesn't look like
doing?
he's still a salesperson. It looks like he's now working with her.
I,
At
I
the.
guess.
That's. I
And
mean, that didn't bother me. I didn't care about
yeah,
that at
I
all.
just I don't I didn't get it. I don't know. Like this is the job. This is the life that he loved. Oh, we should mention because it was kind of it was one of those awe moments. There's a very surprise cameo in this movie, and you mentioned the Goonies, and it's Sean Astin.
Yeah,
And to see the two together was kind of cool, just for the fact that it was the Goonies. Um, but it led to like nowhere. Yeah, the movie's kind of a mess. It's all
yeah,
over the place.
yeah.
And to your point, love hurts, and it can. I'm sure we've all experienced it at one time, but we can honestly say movies hurt too.
Well, here's the thing about voiceovers. That's it's a plot device that can either really work or fail. And the only time it really works is if it's consistent. So
Yes.
that is part of the storytelling. Um, that is the only time that it works. When you throw it in here and there, it always makes the movie less because you're not sure. Because sometimes Rose was giving some background, and sometimes it was Marvin. I mean, it was not used to a good effect. Let's just say the script sucked. I mean,
Yeah, it was.
100%. It's all the
Yeah,
script's fault.
it,
All the script's fault.
it really is. And it leads me to ask the question. And the question is, and it's a serious one, it's about the industry, it's about the movie making industry, the studio system, and whatnot. It makes me wonder, does the position, the actual position, the job position, because, and I know it existed because I had it, I did it for a while. The position of script reader still exists in Hollywood. It just makes me wonder because as a script reader, believe it or not, like although the pay never quantified the power that you had,
Hmm.
because you were the person that would read scripts and either give it a pass or give it a go. You
Hmm.
you give it a pass, and then if you gave it a go, it got passed on up to the next person. But you also had to provide notes, whether you felt that the script was worthy to be made, turned into a major motion picture or not. You still had to say why.
Hmm.
My critic, I guess my criticism background really came into play in knowing how to read scripts. So I did it for a while. I know the position exists. You were called a script reader. That's what it was. You were sent
Hmm.
scripts to read and do. And now I just wonder if this even happens anymore like it used to. Do people, because I scratch my head going, how did somebody read this? And I
Well,
could say,
there was
okay,
also,
there were
if there's more than three writers, actual writers of the screenplay, not I'm not talking about based on somebody's story or whatever.
no,
If there's three credited writers to a screenplay, that's a red flag.
it
That's a
could
big red
be.
flag.
Yeah, it could be, but I could just see somebody, I just feel that people don't understand the mechanics of script writing and or script reading. Because just say you like the content, right? And you could say that. You said, you know what? I'm gonna give it the green light, but I'm gonna say it needs fixing with this character, this character. There needs to be more connection here, here. Um, and that could be all fixed before they go into production. And then there was another thing that happened, and this is even well before testing the movie, and that is somebody giving notes. Like there's a rough cut of the movie, and the way it used to be is that a group of people, executives usually, and such salespeople would sit down, watch the movie, and usually people who knew something about film, and they would give notes. They would say, okay, this is a little fuzzy. This doesn't make sense. Oh, I love the acting. I love her. I love the romance. I love the action. It was a time in which you could give notes to help tighten up the movie. I just wonder, do people watch this stuff before they, okay, that's it. Print, print it, and we're going out to theaters.
Yeah.
Because all of these things could save so many movies, including this one. To your point, we've seen the story done. Mild-mannered person's bad past catches up with them, and they have to deal with it and have to revert back to their violent ways. We've seen this done. And to
And done well. I mean, I think
far better.
nobody is a great example because not only not only is it that story, but it's also Bob Odenkirk, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Someone you never in a million years would think could be a badass assassin, right? Or a spy or whatever the case is, right?
Right.
So when that reveal happens or when we know it's happening, it makes it that much more enjoyable knowing that he really does have these skills. And that was why I love that movie so much. But I think my favorite of this type of movie was History of Violence with
Mm-hmm.
Viggo Mortensen,
Yeah. David
because
Cronenberg.
David Cronenberg's film, yeah, because that really was. I mean, you can see obviously it's not a huge stretch to see Vigo as an assassin in his day, kind of thing.
Sure.
But that movie was so well put together, and he denies it up to the very end, kind of thing. That's a film I really want to watch again. I've been trying to, and it's never free yet. It's not
Yeah.
streaming yet. But yeah, that's a film I really think did it completely well, and was just a really, really good movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's if that's the story device, if that's the story through, the theme, then yeah, it can work, but it just didn't work for this just because the
Mm-hmm.
overall script was just
It
yeah,
was
you're right.
bonkers.
It was trying to be like a bullet train. You're right. You had the
Yeah.
the quirky duo, hitman who were always bantering back and forth, and one guy who's trying to get back together with his wife. Yeah, and then you've got the knife guy who was very good looking, by the way, falling in love with Marvin's assistant in the real estate office, and their kind of weird dynamic, which I didn't mind them
Yeah,
so much. That
Ashley,
actually made me laugh a couple of times, but still, it's kind of out of place in a way.
it felt really out of place and felt like so out of nowhere. And it just didn't make, again, it didn't make that much sense. I
Yeah.
don't know. It wanted to be, it was too cool for school.
Yes.
And it thought of itself as being so cool that it forgot that we had to sit and watch it. And
Right.
I'm not saying as movie reviewers, I don't want to come off like that, but I say as the typical average moviegoer, I would think, I'm sure that some people may love it, and that's fine. I just think that I don't know what audience they were trying too hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And other movies of 87 North that didn't try too hard but were better, like Nobody, like even The Fall Guy was an 87 North movie. They worked because they did have a charm and you believed in the characters. And I just so wanted to root for Marvin, but
Yeah.
he never even had his moment where I wanted to cheer him and going, "Oh my God, that was so awesome."
Yeah.
It wasn't. So I felt bad. I felt bad.
I know. I feel bad. But
I felt angry leaving the theater.
what rating would you give it?
I'm gonna give it a very liberal 2 out of 5. I'm giving it a
Me
two
too.
because of him,
Yes.
because the I can't fault the action
Action was good.
in the movie. I can't do that. And the mere fact that it was short. And it was a movie that we saw together, which is always a pleasure and great.
Yeah.
And I remember the movie, it was a 6 o'clock screening. The movie started at like 10 past 6, and we were out shortly after 7:30.
Yeah. Yeah, we're out,
And I'm
man.
like, you gotta love that. I was home by 8, I guess. So
Yeah.
that was, 2.
Yeah.
Definitely a 2.
Two. Two for
So
me
there
as
you
well.
go.
So there it is. So you want to quickly talk about Companion? I know it came
I,
out what
I,
a couple of weeks ago or
yeah, I mean, I would very much love to talk about Companion because uh, I just recently also reviewed it, and I think that yeah, Companion was a
quick,
movie
real
that
quick.
wait, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say real quick. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so Companion was a movie that I just from the trailers and the posters, you had an idea as to what this movie was going to be about. And then when I'm watching the movie, it wasn't anything that the trailers and or poster
Yeah.
put forth. And actually, that was something that pardon me, I'm not ignoring. I'm just trying to go. That was something that I actually so appreciated of this movie, and I really thought that the movie worked
Yeah.
very well
Yes.
on every level, as horror, as satire, even some comedy,
Yeah.
and some performances as well. I think this is the Valentine's Day movie that
Yes.
people should be going out to. And
Agreed. Agreed.
got to give it to Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid, but Sophie Thatcher was fantastic. And this Drew Hancock, he was great. This is his cinematic debut, and he wrote this as well. And he kind of has a
Wrote and directed it.
he wrote and directed it. And Landon, the gentleman who did Happy Death Day and
Yes.
Freaky, it kind of has that. These two people know how to shake the genre, and they
Yeah.
were able to deliver a finely mixed cocktail that delivers some horror, some splatter. I just can't say enough about Companion. This one I don't want to spoil because I feel,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I
I
guessed
feel
a
people
few
should go see
things.
it.
I guessed
So
a few things. But my ultimate take on it, I loved it too. I thought it was great. I thought it really was really a fun movie to watch and very, very well done, well put together and well acted. But my point to you now is do not mess with AI females. Just don't do it.
I just, well, that to me was the refreshing part of it. And Sophie Thatcher was just so good. And look, folks, if you're watching the trailer, you see the poster, you think it may be robotics run amok. Like we've seen again, it's something that you think you've seen before, whether it be Megan, whether it be Terminator, whether it be anything in which the mechanics turn against the humans and they go bad and start going on a killing spree. It's really not the case in this movie.
No, but
And
but you're right. But there's still the overall, from Megan to Ex Machina to this. Just don't.
yes,
Just
just
don't.
don't. Just don't. But I would take Iris over Ex Machina because I Iris was just in a sense reacting,
Yeah.
and look, I thought Sophie Thatcher was great. Look, Jack Quaid's
He's
stardom
got
is
he's
he's
gotten
like
a mo
just
he's got a
ascending,
moment.
ascending,
Yeah.
ascending.
Yeah.
Just Hollywood, don't burn him out. I know he's got another movie which I'm very much looking forward to, the
Yeah.
Novocaine. But he was really good in this. The rest of the cast was very good, but the direction and the writing was just smart.
Yeah.
It was very clever, and it had one hell of a first act.
Yeah.
The first act was great,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and thankfully the second and third lived up to it. Wouldn't you agree?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably give this 5 stars. I didn't find anything wrong with it at all. I was engaged in it from start to finish.
For me, there was I'm giving it four for very good. I loved it. I'm like, for me, there was one character that wasn't resolved, and I didn't know what happened to the guy. And it's towards the end of the movie. We'll just call him a good guy. We'll just say that. But
Okay.
it's just it was it for me. I was from beginning to end. I was like, wow, this movie really is bringing me something that's clever I haven't seen
Yep.
before.
Yep.
It had funny.
But
Oh,
at
it
the
had
same time, it's familiar themes. It's a
correct.
familiar themes, but it's done in a very unique and creative way.
It even had some good splatter. You know what it
Yes.
reminded me of too, and this shouldn't be too surprising. This is a Warner Brothers feature. Michael DeLuca, along with Pam Abdi, are ahead of the motion picture group of Warner Brothers. Now, this reminded me of uh, the early Michael DeLuca days when he was head of New Line, right?
Mm.
Because think about what he used, like think about his good movies,
Yeah.
like the Nightmare on Elm Street,
Mhm.
right? What did he
Sure.
do? Edgy movie, a relatively new cast and new people
Hmm.
like in front of the camera, behind the camera, gave people opportunity, a little bit of splatter, good movies, some good action, good crowd pleasers. This reminds me of the new line, the old new line from the late 80s, 90s. And it is
Yep.
a new line feature, but it just reminded me of that. And I'm like, God, I want people to see, people should see this movie.
Yeah.
It's good. Do you go see this movie instead of the movie that we just talked about
Yes.
prior?
Exactly.
So
All right. Well,
there
that
you
was
go.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. I'm glad we
Yeah.
got to sneak in companion.
Yes, for sure. All
So
right, my friend. So we've got what do we have coming up? I guess it's that
it's
Captain
that
America
Captain
one.
America movie. Yep. Yeah, we have to talk about the Captain. We have to talk about Cap and see how that, you
See
know,
how it works. I'm a little
see how that
nervous.
you and me both. And I've got nothing against Anthony Mackie. Like, yeah,
No,
I've enjoyed him in the Marvel movies and all. It's
no.
I'm just nervous about everything else around
I
it.
know, me too.
We
Me
shall
too.
see. In
We
any
shall
case,
see.
you have a wonderful Valentine's Day.
Yes, you too. Well, we'll probably maybe we'll
Thank you.
talk, be able to talk next week. I
Yeah,
forgot
that no,
when
I hope
what comes
Valentine's
out
Day,
next week.
Captain America
Oh, okay. So that's what we'll talk about next weekend
on Valentine's Day.
on Valentine's Day.
We will be together on Valentine's
We
Day.
will. We
How
will.
sweet it is. And yeah, that'll be great. And we'll talk Cap. But in the meantime, get a companion and go see Companion.
Instead of yeah,
Uh, yeah,
instead of Love Hurts.
yeah. No need to be hurt when you're going to the movies.
And let
So,
us know what you think of the movies too. Obviously follow
yeah,
us and comment below.
follow, pass it along. Hope you have as much fun listening as we have talking about them and joining in the conversation.
Yep.
So have a good time going to the movies. And yeah, happy Valentine's Day to you all, and we'll see you next week on
See you
Valentine's
next
Day.
week. Yeah. Bye.
Bye, all.